Good morning this beautiful Friday morning, and on behalf of the board, management and staff, welcome to Delta TV's flagship program, Morning Ride. My name is Perpetua Iboba, and today is Friday, the 15th day in the month of May 2026. Well, it's not out of place to say that it's the middle of the month, yes, and before you know it, the month of May will come to an end. Well, however it is, we pray that we all will be partakers of the beautiful blessings that God has in store for us in this beautiful month of May. Well, lined up for your viewing pleasure right here on today's edition of Delta TV's flagship program, Morning Ride. We've got the interview segment, the newspaper headline segment, and of course, trending issues. So we'll begin with the trending issues, and we'll begin with this one that says, Tinubu supports stronger military partnerships and UN Security Council reforms. This is coming from Jimo Ibrahim. Now, Nigeria's permanent representative to the United Nations, Dr. Jimo Ibrahim, has said President Bola Tinubu remains committed to strengthening military partnerships and supporting reforms within the United Nations aimed at addressing emerging global peace and security challenges. Now, Ibrahim stated this while welcoming participants of the United States Army War College to the permanent mission of Nigeria to the United States nations in New York. He noted that the visit of the delegation highlighted the importance of sustained dialogue, strategic cooperation, and mutual understanding among institutions working to promote global peace and security. According to him, the United States Army War College remains one of the world's leading institutions for developing strategic military leaders with a deep understanding of conflict management and international security dynamics. Now, he also lauded the President Bola Tinubu, saying that the president is encouraged by the progress recorded through Nigeria's long-standing collaboration with the institution, especially the outstanding achievement of Nigerian military officers who has passed through the college. Now, the ambassador listed former President Muhammadu Buhari, former Chief of Army Staff General Taoreed Abiodun Labaja, Colonel Charles Nejite, and a host of others who are distinguished Nigerians and whose performances at the college continue to inspire excellence within the Nigerian armed forces. Now, he also expressed delight at the presence of Colonel Timothy Ajato of the Nigerian Army among the visiting participants. Well, also among the trending issues or trending headlines, we have this one that says Makinde joins presidential race once against one-party states. Well, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde yesterday formally joined the presidential race for 2027 under an alliance involving the People's Democratic Party and the Allied People's Movement. Now, in his declaration speech delivered at a rally held at Mapo Hall, Ibadan, and witnessed by a mammoth crowd, he announced his candidacy for the position of President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria under the PDP and APM alliance. Yes, now with that declaration, Seyi Makinde has joined former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Minister of Transport Rotimi Amechi, 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, Adewale Adebayo of the Social Democratic Party, among others, to challenge President Bola Tinubu come 2027. Now, also speaking at that rally, Seyi Makinde said Nigeria was drifting dangerously towards a one-party state, warning that democracy itself was under a huge threat if opposition forces failed to unite against what he described as systematic attempts to weaken alternative political voices. And on today's, still on the trending issues actually, yes, not today, actually tomorrow, that's May 16, is the International Day of the Boy Child. But you know, today is May 15 and tomorrow is May 16, so we get to talk about it right here on set. Yes, tomorrow is the International Day of the Boy Child, where we get to celebrate the boy child. You know, it's been something in the society where we talk about Father's Day and Mother's Day, and fathers come out to say in a year we've got like 10 Mother's Day, and you know what, how many days are dedicated to fathers? Well, I don't know about that, but coming down to the International Day of the Boy Child, it is important for us to know that all children are important, regardless of gender. I think that's why the 16th day in the month of May 2026 was chosen as the International Day of the Boy Child. Now, this day is set aside to highlight the well-being, education, and health of boys. Now, this year's theme is his voice, his identity, and this aims to address mental health, mentorship, and positive masculinity, focusing on empowering young males to overcome challenges. And there are some pointers that this key theme for this year highlights when looking at the International Day of the Boy Child. And one of them is looking at the theme itself, the focus of the theme, his voice, his identity, you know, as utilized in several advocacy initiatives that are being carried out to highlight the theme for this year's commemoration or celebration. You see that it focuses on promoting positive masculinity, ending the boys don't cry syndrome, because we've had it 1,000 times, you know, when a young boy is probably angry, he's irritated, he's throwing tantrums, and then we hear people say, don't cry. Don't cry, boys don't cry, you're a man, don't cry, and we hear things like that. As opposed to when the girl child is crying and she's expressing herself, probably being irritated and throwing tantrums, we see the elderly ones are all around her, trying to soothe her, trying to know what the problem is, trying to give her a listening ear. I feel like such should also be extended to the boy child. Like I said, all children are important regardless of gender. So I think the idea of boys don't cry or boys don't talk too much, keep quiet, I think such things should be nipped in the bud, you know. Rather, they should have an atmosphere where they are encouraged to positively express themselves, and of course that positive masculinity needs to be encouraged. Of course, another thing that this celebration aims to promote is celebration and advocacy. Yes, there are lots of events aimed at celebrating this year's International Day of the Boy Child. As a matter of fact, in our little corner, we don't have to make it big. We could carry out sensitization, advocacy, just to make people around understand or give them the idea that all children are important, you know, regardless of gender, like I earlier said, and that the boy child is also as important as the girl child. So equal rights needs to be given them, you know, listening ear, a shoulder to lean on, you know, someone to talk to them, the promotion of positive masculinity. Not every time you tell the boy child, you know, chest it, you're a man, endure, you're a man, and stuff like that, you know. It's not promoting positive masculinity. So tomorrow actually is also set aside to advocate for the fact that the boy child also needs a shoulder to cry on, someone to lean on, someone to talk to, someone to advise him, someone to who put him on the right path. Yes, and of course the day emphasizes nurturing boys' mental, emotional, and educational growth, ensuring that they are not overlooked in developmental efforts. Yes, it is also important that the same attention we extend to the girl child, it also needs to be extended to the boy child, because they are also part of the society. And the good book says, train up a child in a way he should go, and when he's old he will not depart from it. So it's beautiful to note that when we feed into this young boys positive masculinity, the positive training, all the love, the care, the childhood support that they need to aid their growth and development, you find out that they are better responsible individuals, better reformed individuals, because they have that grassroots training, that foundation they need to function well as adults. So happy International Day of the Boy Child in advance, because the celebration is tomorrow, May 16th, 2026. And to all the boy child out there, don't forget, you are loved, you are important, you are seen. Don't feel bad for expressing yourself. Don't feel bad for crying. It's not just it's not an act of cowardice that you cry, like the way society has made us to believe. Actually, it's important that you express yourself. So don't stop expressing yourself. Don't stop upholding positive masculinity. If you're going through something, don't chest it. Don't swallow it. You could feel depressed. Look for someone that you trust and speak to that person. It could be your parent. Yes, speak to your parents about it, and they will definitely put you in the right path. So happy International Day of the Boy Child. Well, it's still Friday's edition of Delta TV's flagship program, Morning Ride. We take a quick breather and would now go to the interview segment. Stay tuned.
Like I tell you, very soon electricity for Delta State it go be one of the best for Nigeria. Stop, you don't start. Calm down. You get wetin I don't tell you before when
you don't tell me now. Say this year 2026 they go complete the DSA roundabout flyover for free. No, the watch whether it go happen now.
Sure, why not go happen? This year just a start now. The construction of the DSA roundabout flyover for free is already 98% complete.
You sure?
Yes. Governor Sheriff dey drive to modernize urban infrastructure so that it go ease traffic congestion across key metropolitan.
You mean metropolitan corridors?
Yes. Say me an English not like this.
Well, I no go like Governor Sheriff they do well, because I know of some communities where they say their expectations, their dreams has become a reality. You will talk something about electricity.
Our governor, Right Honorable Sheriff, he don dey set to add 120 megawatts to the national grid.
Oh boy, this one go boost Delta State energy capacity.
Delta State Health Insurance Scheme expanded between 2023 to 2025, becoming Nigeria's largest state health insurance scheme. While Oborewori no go clinch double honors as Governor of the Year 2025.
Governor Oborewori don remember Kokori Sweet Crude with 12 billion naira road rehabilitation.
I know, na 35.32 kilometer road for Etiop East local government area.
150 primary healthcare centers under renovation and upgrade across the state.
This road intervention wey Governor Sheriff dey do so na practical demonstration of the Governor Sheriff opportunities for all wey dey more agenda.
Particularly communities wey don suffer neglect for years.
Governor Sheriff dey work with the CM
Brought to you by Delta State Ministry of Information.
Today so excitement dey everywhere for Bomadi as Governor Sheriff commissioned the 31 kilometers road wey connect 5 different local government areas for Delta State.
Delta government don approve 400 billion for the construction, rehabilitation and upgrading of roads.
Governor Sheriff dey try you.
Yes, and other critical infrastructures across the state.
Governor Sheriff dey work well. Why they call it only roads and bridges they do?
You know dey inside the state. Na only roads and bridges Governor Sheriff dey do. You know they are aware of the schools when Governor Sheriff don't upgrade. I've been at the healthcare centers when he say Governor Sheriff they upgrade across the 25 local governments.
Yes,
you know, say not be only roads and bridges Governor Sheriff they do. Oppositions go always talk. Governor Sheriff don't approve the construction of male and female hostels across 9 state-owned state-owned tertiary institutions.
And even the roads one of the talk say Governor Sheriff they do. Hope you know say we can't have a working economy without good roads. How can businesses thrive without good roads? How can people locate healthcare centers without good roads? How can students go to their schools?
Governor Sheriff still dey do flood control measures because he won't create an enabling environment for Deltans.
Not forget say Governor Sheriff does still do empowerment programs where empower both youths and women.
Now.
What about graduating students with first class? 1 million naira each, 5 million best graduating students.
You be sports person. You know that when Governor Sheriff reward Team Delta with cash prizes. Also donate buses to aid logistics.
Talking about sports, I dare myself say the renovation of Warri Township Stadium is 75% complete.
Governor Sheriff dey touch all area.
Don't be lie.
Brought to you by Delta State Ministry of Information.
You're still on to Friday's edition of Morning Ride, and this is the interview segment. Well, we're in the Builders Week 2026. Yes, so this is the Builders Week 2026, and we'll be speaking with members of the Nigerian Institute of Building, Delta State Chapter. We'll be speaking with them on the theme advocacy and policy influence towards sustainable reforms for a resilient built environment. That's what we're going to be discussing this morning on the topic, the need for better enforcement of building laws. Well, I'm being joined by two gentlemen right here in the studio. I'm talking about Builder Ononye Roy. He is the chairman, Nigerian Institute of Building, NTOB Delta State Chapter, and Builder Emmanuel O. Akule. He's the secretary, Nigerian Institute of Building, NIOB Delta State Chapter. Good morning, gentlemen.
Yes. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Delta.
Good morning, Nigerians.
So, how are you doing this morning?
Wonderful.
Okay, great. Quickly speaking on the topic, can you, Mr. Roy, can you just give us an idea, on the celebration of this week, together with the theme as it regards building?
Well, it's not my good day again, Deltans. My name is Builder Ononye Roy. It's not necessarily a celebration, but more or less a memorialization.
Commemoration, you mean?
Yes, commemorating the death, the collapse that took place in 2019 of a school in Lagos. In fact, that's where the Builders' Day thing started from. And ever since then, we've been having our Builders' Week that's, climaxed to this day, which is a Builders' Day proper, March 13th of every year is our Builders' Day. And for this year, we are taking a look at advocacy, sustainability, the reforms in laws, and how government policies will affect a sustainable and resilient built environment. That is basically what we are on for today. And to buttress it further, we the Nigerian Institute of Building, we have been partnering with the government, especially at the national level, where we can have policies, reforms that will checkmate a lot of decadence in the built environment. It's not just for builders, but the built environment, which means that it also inculcates other professional bodies. We collaborate with them as well on the flip side. But for today, it's just for builders showcasing themselves to the public.
Okay, great. So, Builder Emmanuel, now looking at the country, Nigeria, what's the current state of the building law enforcement in Nigeria? How far has it strived? How far has these laws, made impact as regards building right here in the country?
Thank you very much. The laws in Nigeria about
yes.
building
yes.
has not really made impact to my own understanding.
Okay.
Though there are laws governing some of these practices, but there is no enforcement. For example, the builder who has the responsibility of implementing designs that have been produced by other professionals on site. That's his core responsibility. But when you go to site, you discover that you see carpenters, you see bricklayers, you see many of these people, they refer to them in quotes, engineers on site. And you see them constructing buildings. And I ask myself, why would there not be building collapse when quacks are in charge of construction on site? And government is aware. So sometimes you ask yourself, is it that the government just made this law and just to make law, or they make it to implement it? So there are no reasonable enforcement of laws in the building industry.
Okay, so having established that there are no basic establishment, or there is poor building regulation enforcement in the country as regards buildings, now what are the consequences of these anomaly we are being faced with in the society?
Simple answer, building collapse.
Okay.
Then you will have a building, even though the building did not collapse, there are some buildings you will enter into. It will look as if you are inside the sun, because the heat in that house will be too much. Why? Because where they are supposed to place the window, because quacks build those houses, they will place in another place. Even the height of windows. For example, there was a building I entered one day. I quickly left that place. They step it down by 1 foot, and the window at the sitting room is about 3 feet, the height. So how can somebody survive in that environment? So that shows you that there was no professional, there was no builder in that building when they were constructing it. Builder's input was not considered. And as a result of that, the building itself will not give its maximum benefit. The people there will not benefit it maximally. Though they are in the house, but it looks as if they are in a hut.
Okay. So Builder Roy and Builder Emmanuel just made a comment about poor building regulation enforcement in the country, which is one of the reasons why we see
from the rivers to the cities we rise.
Nigerians, it is time to arise. Arise not for the change that we dream of, but arise to create the change that we want. It is time to bring your talent to bear. And this is a call for expressions. My team will create something that you will be proud of, but we cannot create a museum without you. So if you have this thing in your house that you've been thinking since forever, the world needs to see, bring it to us. If you have this talent that you feel that the world already knows or don't know about it, but there is one simple clause. It must be speaking to one of the 17 SDG goals. Donors, philanthropists, Nigerian government, it is time to lead the conversation our way. It is time to put our money where our mouth is. Please come on board and join this. History is about to be made. The question is, are you going to be a part of it?
This is our call. Don't just live today. Discover the future.
basic establishment, or there is poor building regulation enforcement in the country as regards buildings. Now, what are the consequences of these anomaly we are being faced with in the society?
Simple answer, building collapse.
Okay.
Then you will have a building, even though the building did not collapse, there are some buildings you will enter into. It will look as if you are inside the sun, because the heat in that house will be too much. Why? Because where they are supposed to place the window, because quacks build those houses, they will place in another place. Even the height of windows. For example, there was a building I entered one day. I quickly left that place. They step it down by 1 foot, and the window at the sitting room is about 3 feet, the height. So how can somebody survive in that environment? So that shows you that there was no professional, there was no builder in that building when they were constructing it. Builder's input was not considered. And as a result of that, the building itself will not give its maximum benefit. The people there will not benefit it maximally. Though they are in the house, but it looks as if they are in a hut.
Okay. So Builder Roy and Builder Emmanuel just made a comment about poor building regulation enforcement in the country, which is one of the reasons why we see issues like building collapse, which is like the major reason that we have building collapse in the country. But why do you think that these building laws are circumvented or ignored right now in the country?
Well, before I answer that question, I know that I did mention that why the building day is being we are into it was because of the collapse of a building, school structure in Lagos.
Yes.
Just some few days ago, there was another collapse of a school structure, but we thank God that no lives were lost. It's the same thing. When government refused to implement, imagine 2019, a building collapsed and everybody shouted, oh, is this, is that, and all that. We set up laws. Laws were actually set up after that period. There were laws that were set up. But if you look at it, if they were implemented, enforced, we won't be having that same thing just some few days back of another school collapsing. These are the future of the country. These children are our future. And if we have them in places that are unfit, then we are going to be having problems. So for the laws not being implemented, I think one of the first things I always look at is the fact that, one, there's always this level of circumventing these laws. Everybody wants to bend it, especially those who are entrusted to interpret them. The professionals who are there to go out there and do these things. Everybody wants to bend it. Will I say for their own ulterior motives? That is left to be answered by whoever is involved. But the truth still remains is that when somebody is put in for it, somebody pays, is being queried for it, or has to pay for it, then I think every other person will sit up. Every other person will sit up in ensuring that, listen, a building collapse affects me, even if it's not my own building, but if it happens within my area, there's this tendency that people will say, perhaps all buildings on this area, there's likelihood that they are going to be collapsing. So you see, people become skeptical. Investors become skeptical, bringing in their money. Who do they have to employ or engage for these services?
Okay. So how can authorities, including the government now, when I'm talking about authorities now, ensure that these laws that are in existence, like you established, are being implemented and they follow it to the latter, that people actually obey this to avert issues such as building collapse?
Okay, let me just quickly answer that. You see, government is about turnover, as far as I'm concerned.
Turnover in what aspect?
In all aspects. Profit, attacks, human resources, and the likes. That government is business. That's just the truth. And for you to go into a business, you must have a visibility of what you are going to do. Now, before you go into telling people to pay tax or what have you, you must have looked at it that there's a lot of people involved in this.
Yes.
It's time to let's get back. We have been putting in. The same thing applies to the building. Now, government, like for Delta State government, it is just set up the URP board, yes. Urban and Regional Planning Board. They've put in professionals there to enforce, to interpret and enforce these laws. Now, if you look at it, there's this problem of manpower, and I keep making this proposal that it is high time government have a private partnership with professional bodies That is the only way you can checkmate the implementation, the non-implementation, more to speak, and how the industry moves forward. Now, the building industry or the construction industry is very relevant to the economy of any nation. When construction moves, the people move. That is the only way you can spread wealth amongst people. Now, the building industry is very, very important because, like there's a going saying, after Bele, na house, you know. So this is where government can also come in and say, okay, yes, we can generate revenue at the same time implementing these laws and making sure that we have safe houses. Because once a building collapses, the first person who is affected, to be frank with you, is the governor of the state. The first person they are asking is, how you go there? This kind of thing they happen for your state. So it brings embarrassment. So that's the first thing. It loss of funds, loss of lives. You get what I'm saying? So there's need for proper implementation. And it's not just implementing these laws, but making sure that these laws are sustainable. These laws takes into cognizance the nitty-gritty that is required to make that the goal of getting a better built environment achieved. You get what I'm saying? So that is very key. Government partnering with professional bodies, partnering with even companies that produce these materials that we use. Because if you look at it, one of our other problems we have is that if you go to the market today, there are substandard products everywhere. We have the Standard Organization of Nigeria, who till this day, I do not know how much they've really influenced importation and manufacturing of these products that we use for building materials for building construction. So it's like a Russian roulette, if I would use that language, when you go into the market and you say you buy materials. Because if for a professional going to get a material and he doesn't have a place to test it, because there are no laws that says, okay, it must be enforced, go and test this before you use them. I mean, you find out people just toss up a dime. Just go how it works.
Okay. So, Builder Emmanuel, do you think that there should be stricter laws as regards to the breaches when it comes to building, like building collapse as a result of these buildings not situated where they are supposed to be situated, or using materials that were not supposed to be used? Do you think that the laws should be very, very strict on them? And what organizations do you think should be brought to book if there are anomalies associated with buildings?
Thank you very much. Yes, there should be stricter laws, especially in the area of materials.
Building materials.
In the area of building materials. Standard Organization of Nigeria is a very important organization supposed to take building material very seriously. I don't know, you can go to any market right now, any building market now, and go and check the bars there, the reinforcement bars, which you normally call the rod. When you see 16 mm currently, it's like the former 12 mm. I'm calling it former because in the market, when they present 16 mm to you, you'll be asking, which one is this? And you'll be surprised at the back of it to see where it's written 16 mm. But when you check it, it's either 13 and a half.
Lesser.
Or less. Then I ask myself, what is SON doing? What are they doing? So, there should be stricter laws. But however, remember we're not discussing today about the building material anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, we're talking about the builders.
Yes.
And then the regulations, in the building industry.
Okay, so talking about the regulations in the building industry now, what are some of the regulations now that you think that should be enforced to ensure that there is more visibility for the building industry, those in the building industry, as well as making impact in the quality of buildings that are, coming into the society,
Good.
as we speak?
Good. Before now, there have been line-up of rules how building should be constructed.
Yeah.
First of all, you obtain your architectural design. After the design, like the architectural design, you now go for structural design. For example, you want to construct a duplex. then other service design, such as electrical and plumbing and the rest. Now go for approval. Then the builder comes in. First of all, remember who a builder is. Because many people don't know who a builder is. A builder is somebody that have been trained academically, who have gone to the university, spent 5 years there, or a polytechnic, spent minimum of 4 years there in the polytechnic. Then he now goes for registration, professional registration. First of all, with Nigerian building, spent years in out of school activities, such as going for different training, zone, obtaining the certificates after school, about 3 years. Now you now go for professional exam. When you pass that exam, now you now go for the next one, which is registration for license to operate. With the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, COBON. Then when COBON finally issues you that license, you can now begin to operate as a builder. Now, remember when you graduate from Polytechnic, you are not a graduate builder here, you are seen as a technologist. Until after some years of experience.
From a Polytechnic, you are not a graduate builder,
no.
You are seen as a technologist.
Yes.
Wow.
Then when you graduate from the university after spending 5 years, you are seen as a graduate builder. That is just a baby builder. Okay. And before you now go into professional activities for some years, before you are now registered with the institute and finally obtain your license. Now at the end of this, you go back to site. After architect and the rest people have designed whatever they design, you now, the builder, implements those designs on site. You set it up, you transfer it, and you see day-to-day activities, construction of such building on site.
Great. So time is not our friend. Builder Roy, I want to ask now, what changes would you suggest or would you propose as regards improving building law enforcement? Because you said something about the laws being there, but there's a problem with implementation. So how do you suggest that the government and authorities go about making sure that these laws are enforced in the society?
Like I mentioned earlier now, it's number one, the government cannot do it all. We are also part of government. Government should come into a partnership with the professional bodies. You see, I'm a registered builder.
Okay.
I'm only saying, you only know that because I'm telling you I'm registered. You need to have a database where you can say, okay, let's go and check if actually this man is a registered builder. Government needs to have a database for professional bodies, not just builders, but every professional body. So when your name comes up, we want to know, are you truly a member of that place to start with? Because I'll tell you one thing, any building that collapses that is not done by a professional, is the client that is in charge, that will be held responsible.
The owner of the project.
The owner of the project will be held responsible. Okay. Because you are putting the lives of people in danger by not ensuring the professional persons to handle it.
Okay. So Builder Roy, with what you and Builder Emmanuel have highlighted so far, there seems to be a conflict between cost and safety when it comes to building, you know, the desire for the owner of the project or those who are setting up that project or building trying to cut costs at the detriment of safety. That's why we have lots of building collapse like you've highlighted in your point. So how do we draw the line and ensure that there is a balance in both to ensure that in as much as, you know, I'm not spending so much, or in as much as, let's say, I'm spending so much, it is not exorbitant, and at the same time, I'm not putting lives at risk? Okay,
there's something that's said in marketing. I think your best price is the one you shit. Oh. That is the best price, is your decision, that point. So, you cannot get away from cost. There's something my dad used to say, he says, cheap things are never good, and good things are never cheap. So I'm not saying that it's going to be exorbitant, but you are looking at quality. You want to get the best at the right price. That's the point. You want to get the best at the right price. And even if you are finding difficulty in pricing, you can always seek an alternative quote from another professional within that industry. the cost implications I will incur is different from when you go and meet a roadside person. He doesn't know the responsibility he's taking up. I am taking up a responsibility, and I'm there to also advise the clients beyond just bringing money, that this, while you are paying this is what you are getting. And because you are getting this is the reason and the return on your investment. So you don't become a thing that you just carry money and you dump into a bottomless pit and you cry out wolf at the end of the day. So the cost is a thing that is subjective to the time. Okay. So cost is subjective to the time, because if today, last week, if you give a quote for a project, it cannot be the same this week, because if you could look at it, some things have changed. So clients, everybody should also understand that there are changes, but at the same time, if you want the best, you must be able to check between professional costs, professional persons, not checking with professionals and quacks.
Okay.
Yes.
So before we go, time is not our friend. This week is the Builders Week. So before we go, Builder Emmanuel, let me begin with you. Can you throw more light on the commemoration and, of course, your final words to Deltans and Nigerians seeing you out there?
Yes, okay, let me say, if you are about to construct a building and you don't have a builder around you, please look for one.
A professional builder. Look
for a professional builder, because it's going to save you a lot on site. First of all, he's going to build your house to standard, because that is his core mandate.
Yes.
Then two, you are going to enjoy it. You are going to, even with the minimal expenses. For example, you want to build a house and a builder gives you maybe 12 million, for example, and a bricklayer gives you like 8 million. You say, that idiot, how can you give me 12 million? You don't know what's going on. That money he gives you, 8 million, you'll be surprised that you spend 16 million. Because yes, he's going to state and tell you this one, that one, that one, this one, that one. And because it's a cheap labor, okay, you bring again, you bring again, you bring. When you sum it, you discover that you'd have gone for that professional other than this quack. Because quack will not tell you everything, and meanwhile, you will not enjoy your building. And again, you want to build something like more than one floor, and you don't have a professional too. It's another danger. Because he has what you call duty of reasonable forcibility and duty of care. He is on site. There are some things he will see that a bricklayer will never see. Yes. Sometimes some accidents that happen on site, check who is there. When a builder is there, you hardly see those things. Because he must have known that this is going to happen before time. But since you are paying quack, you don't want to, you feel that professional is very costly, then you just go for the lesser one. At the end, you pay higher money with less quality output. So it is important you go for a trained builder.
Okay. So, Builder Roy, your final words.
Well, for me, not just a trained or professional builder, but a professional all the same. Every professional has their abilities. I just want to make one example of a building that collapsed, and one-story building that collapsed with the owner inside. You see, he paid the ultimate price for getting quacks or not wanting to give his property to a professional to manage. You see, I keep telling people, you want to go to the doctor or a surgeon, for instance, you don't tell the surgeon where to operate on you. But when it comes to a building, you want to cut corners, you want to find, but you forget that the building that you are going to even do that, the place you are going to take up that structure, that surgery, is in a building, it's not under a tree. So if you don't get a professional at that point, you might even go there for the surgery, and both your doctor and yourself, and that's the end. So the requirements of a professional, or the need for professionalism, outweighs every other thing you can think of. Even the cost, it outweighs the cost. So my take home for a lot of Deltans and Nigerians in particular is seek the services of a professional. In the building industry, seek the services of a professional builder. It is very, very important. When you get your professional architect, does your design, and insist that the person to build it, who is trained, who is taking the responsibility must be a professional builder. That way you save yourself the calamity of the future. Rather, you get the enjoyment of a lifetime.
All right, in the words of Builder Emmanuel and Builder Roy, seek the services of a professional builder. Well, we've been speaking with the duo of Builder Ononye Oroy, who is the chairman of the Nigerian Institute of Building, Delta State Chapter, and Builder Emmanuel Oapole, who is the secretary of the Nigerian Institute of Building, Delta State Chapter, on the theme advocacy and policy influence towards sustainable reforms for a resilient built environment. Talking about the Builders Week 2026. Yes, and also deliberating on the topic, the need for better enforcement of building laws. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for gracing our couch this beautiful Friday morning.
Thank you very much, Paula.
All right, you're still on to Friday's edition of Morning Ride. We'll take a quick breather, and by the time we return, it will be time for our next segment. Stay tuned.
The host community, try as much as possible to guide your utterances. No company can be intimidated. The companies are also urged to keep to their social responsibility, the corporate social responsibility. I always say it, keep to it. If you keep to the corporate social responsibility, no host community will hold you ransom.
Today so excitement dey everywhere for Bomadi as Governor Sheriff commissioned the 31 kilometers road wey connect 5 different local government areas for Delta State.
Delta government don approve 400 billion for the construction, rehabilitation and upgrading of roads.
Governor Sheriff dey try o.
Yes o, and other critical infrastructures across the state.
Governor Sheriff dey work well o. Why they call the tossing only roads and bridges they do?
You know dey inside the state. Na only roads and bridges Governor Sheriff dey do. You know they are aware of the schools when Governor Sheriff don't upgrade. I've been at the healthcare centers when he be say Governor Sheriff they upgrade across the 25 local governments.
Yes,
you know say not be only roads and bridges Governor Sheriff they do. Oppositions go always talk. Governor Sheriff don't approve the construction of male and female hostels across 9 state-owned tertiary institutions.
And even the roads one at the top say Governor Sheriff they do. Hope you know say we can't have a working economy without good roads. How can businesses thrive without good roads? How can people locate healthcare centers without good roads? How can students go to their schools?
Governor Sheriff still do flood control measures because he won't create an enabling environment for Deltans.
Not forget say Governor Sheriff does still do empowerment programs where empower both youths and women. What about graduating students with first class? 1 million naira each, 5 million best graduating students.
You be sports person. You know that when Governor Sheriff reward Team Delta cash prizes. Also donate buses to aid logistics.
Talking of sports, I myself say the renovation of Warri Township Stadium is 75% complete.
Governor Sheriff dey touch all areas.
Brought to you by Delta State Ministry of Information.
Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Shine, Jesus, shine, fill this land with the Father's glory. It's the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it.
Choristers Beats, lifting God's name higher through songs. Don't miss it.
Rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it.
Hello, my name is Blessing Ofomio. Join me every Tuesday, 11 a.m. on Delta Television, Asaba, on the program HBS Show with Blessing, History Behind Success. It is a program that talks about how one started from the humble beginning. Don't forget to also subscribe to our YouTube channel, HBS Show with Blessing, like and share to your loved ones. Don't miss this program for any reason.
Bonjour, bonjour, comment ça va? Bonjour, bonjour, très bien, merci.
Hello there. Watch French for Beginners on Delta Television on Channel 25 UHF band and online at Delta TV for the best French education. Regardez, salut à tous. Regardez le français pour le débutant sur Delta Television sur le canal 25 UHF band et en ligne sur Delta TV. Rejoignez-nous pour le cours le meilleur de français débutant éducatif. Merci et vous serez contente de l'avoir fait.
Bonjour, bonjour, comment ça va?
Like I tell you, very soon electricity for Delta State it go be one of the best for Nigeria.
Obukobo, stop! You don't start.
Calm down. You get what I don't tell you before when
you don't tell me now. Say this year 2026 they go complete the DSA roundabout flyover for a free. No, they watch whether I go happen now.
Sure, why not go happen? This year just a start now. The construction of the DSA roundabout flyover for a free is already 98% complete.
You sure?
Yes. Governor Sheriff dey drive to modernize urban infrastructure so that it go ease traffic congestion across key metropolitan.
You mean metropolitan corridors?
Yes. You know say me and English na like this.
Well, I no go like Governor Sheriff dey do well because I know of some communities where they say their expectations, I mean their dreams, has become a reality. You will talk something about electricity.
Our governor, Right Honorable Sheriff, he don dey set to add 120 megawatts to the national grid.
Oh boy, this one go boost Delta State energy capacity.
Delta State Health Insurance Scheme expanded between 2023 to 2025, becoming Nigeria's largest state health insurance scheme. While Oborewori no go clinch double honors as Governor of the Year 2025.
Governor Oborewori don remember Kokori Sweet Crudo with 12 billion naira road rehabilitation.
I know, na 35.32 kilometer road for Etiop East local government area.
150 primary healthcare centers under renovation and upgrade across the state.
This road intervention wey Governor Sheriff dey do so na practical demonstration of the Governor Sheriff opportunities for all wey dey more agenda.
Particularly communities wey don suffer neglect for years.
Governor Sheriff dey work with the CM Mari Matter.
Brought to you by Delta State Ministry of Information.
Every morning brings a new conversation.
From breaking stories to burning issues.
From 7:30 to 9:30 a.m.
Mondays to Fridays.
Join us on Morning Ride, where news meets insight and every voice matters.
Morning Ride is your daily dose of facts, truth, and perspective.
Politics in Perspective. It is a program loaded with fresh facts. It is a platform to unearth hidden agenda. It is a forum to showcase achievements. It is a time to x-ray the past, present, and future. Politics in Perspective is interactive, educative, entertaining, and a must-watch for everybody. Your host is Ejime Odweme. Be part of Politics in Perspective on Delta TV, channel 25 UHF or www.dbsasaba.com every Monday at 2 to 3 p.m. Politics in Perspective, your sure bet for current topical issues.
Delta State I dey so. With wetin I dey see so, very soon Delta State go be like Canada, America.
Now Delta State today, for front, now one of the bridges where Governor Sheriff already commissioned.
In fact, I dey abroad.
I dey abroad.
About you go wake up. Gary don't finish for house.
I dey abroad.
Okay, you do Obuko Ogenekewe Street. I beg, I won't go buy Gary.
Collect money for that trouser.
Akpako, you never hear what they happen.
Say rain start early this year.
Governor Sheriff, you don't approve 200,000 naira special allowance. Now welfare package for doctors waiting for Delta State. Yes, so.
You know say I study medicine small.
They study medicine small.
I be for even, you know.
You know say Governor Sheriff, you know they do all those things so. Now strictly merit based, free of any form of payment or mago.
The more agenda, they turn Delta State to a hub for agro-industrial growth where investment dey thrive. Now as a result of a peaceful and business-friendly environment when Governor Sheriff dey create for Delta State. Governor Sheriff focus on practical solutions where they make life easy for Deltans. Abi you know hear of the new CNG station for Asaba. When they deliver in partnership with Nipco Gas, e go also ease the pressure of rising fuel costs. I go patronize them. You say? I say I go patronize them. With your wheelbarrow.
From roads to drainage systems cutting across multiple communities for Delta State, Governor Sheriff came prepared, more than the way I say prepared. More agenda, matter.
Brought to you by Delta State Ministry of Information.
Now Delta State I dey so.
The ways you have access to good nutrition is having access to good information.
You're still on to Friday's edition of Morning Ride, and this is yet another interview segment where we'll be discussing on the role of dietitians in ensuring a healthier society. And to do justice to this topic is no other than Enejedu Esogene Oluwasebilore, who is a clinical dietitian. Good morning, Esogene.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm so surprised that you actually got my name.
Oh, I did. That's good. I'm excited too. How are you doing today?
I'm very well.
It's good to have you right here in the studio.
Thank you.
So quickly, the World Dietitians Day was celebrated about 2 days ago, 2 days back. So can you quickly speak to that?
Okay. The World Dietitians Day is actually celebrated the second week, every second week in March, the first Wednesday. That's going to be second Wednesday in March. And this year we were focused on the power of nutrition. And one of the things we are trying to achieve dietitians in Delta State is to make awareness, is to make everybody know that there are dietitians in healthcare system, we have dietitians in Delta State, and everybody have access to a dietitian. Everybody have access to good nutrition. And one of the ways you have access to good nutrition is having access to good information. And one of the ways to have access to good information is to have access to your dietitians in the hospital. So that is one of the things that we're trying to do, to make everybody know that your dietitian, your nutritionist, at your beck and call.
Okay, so bringing it to today's topic now, what role do dietitians play in promoting public health? Okay,
the dietitians actually have a good role in promoting public. The dietitians actually have good play a big role in promoting public health. Let's start with in the hospital. The dietitians have a big role they play in the hospital. Number one is that we access patients' nutritional need. Apart from accessing their health need, we access patients' nutritional need. We want to see that, is this person at risk of malnutrition, or does this person actually have malnutrition? Then we're actually looking out for, does this person have nutrition-related problems? We have some problems that they are not necessarily nutritional problems, but you need nutrition. Nutrition plays a very vital role in managing those conditions, so we need dietitians for that. Then we need dietitians to design or create medical nutritional therapy. Now that is actually what differentiates a dietitian from a nutritionist, that medical nutritional therapy, to tailor it to a person or a patient's need. To say that, okay, for you, because you can actually have 20 people who have the same condition, but the way you are going to manage it for 20 of them is actually different. So the dietitian actually plays a role in tailoring that nutritional need to each person's condition. And we have conditions like diabetes, like kidney conditions.
Before you go further, you're saying that a dietitian is different from a nutritionist.
Yes.
Okay, so what is the role of a nutritionist?
Okay, now, the courses nutrition and dietetics. Nutrition and dietetics. That is what is in the undergraduate course. Now, when they both graduate, they are all nutritionists. Now, the nutritionist is not a licensed body. Or let me use the word, it's not a regulated body, and they just give nutrition advice. You find them in schools, you find them in hospitals, you find them in, parastatals, like ministries, industries. You find nutritionists there. But for dietitians, they have actually now gone back to do their internship. And not just do their internship, they are registered, they are taking the educational trainings and all of that. They are now registered, they are now licensed. A nutritionist does not have a license, but a dietitian has a license to actually practice this, and then you can actually attend to a patient. They are the only one that have the license to say, okay, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. Whereas a nutritionist will just give you a general advice. A general advice. Yeah, so that is actually the difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian. The dietitian is actually licensed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what roles do dietitians play in helping us avoid chronic illnesses like diabetes, heart failure? Because some people that are down with these diseases, they will tell you this is what you should eat, this is what you shouldn't eat. So how do dietitians help us achieve that?
The first thing the dietitian would do is the heart of nutrition courses is nutrition education.
Okay.
Be it nutritionist, be it dietitian, the nutrition education actually plays a very important role, and we have to educate everybody to say, don't do this, do this, don't do this, do that. So that nutrition education is actually very important to both parties, whether you're a dietitian or a nutritionist. We actually do nutrition education. We go from clinics to clinics, go for outreaches. Like for me, I go for outreaches. You see dietitians online too. I'm also online. We have
online consultations.
Online consultations. Okay. You see them in private hospitals. You see them in medical outreaches. You see them in even private. There are some private organizations that are not necessarily clinics or hospital based, but they have nutritionists or dietitians in their system to help probably their workers, to help them to just make sure that they are eating right and all of that. So the art of nutrition is education. Like I say, if you're a nutritionist or a dietitian, you will teach. There's not how you will not teach. It goes beyond just counseling. You will teach. Whether you are teaching students, whether you are teaching patients, whether you are teaching passerby.
Yeah, even teaching us here.
You will teach, and you have to educate people. I realize that there's a lot of misconception flying around. When I meet patients, the kind of things I hear. You think you've heard the worst until somebody comes again and tell you the worstest of the worst. And you'll be like, where did you hear that from? Say, we just heard this. I was like, it's not a dietitian or a doctor that told you. They say, no, it's one person came to my house and said, one woman said I should not do this because it's going, they say, if I drink cold water, it will cause malaria. I say, wow, where did you hear all of that from? So the art of nutrition is educating people. So we go around preaching the gospel of good nutrition.
Okay, so you say the act of a dietitian, a dietitian rather, is to educate people. So what avenue have you used now, or what means of education have you used to pass this information to people? Like you rightly said, some persons will come and say, I heard in the market that don't do this, don't eat this. I hear that a lot from my mom. She goes to the market every day, and when she comes back, she tells you, oh, they said we should stop eating this one. They said we should stop eating that one. So how can you? Because even on social media, I see many nutritionists coming up with different food calendar and the rest. How have you, been able to sensitize the public on how to stay healthy and how to prevent disease? Because eating right prevents disease.
Okay, so me personally, I have a social media page. Let me just pitch myself. The online dietitian. If you go online, I preach about good food, I preach about good nutrition, and the focus of my talks online is usually debunking I focus more on debunking the rumors, and also helping people to make informed decisions. But my main focus is actually debunking, because I know that on social, especially now that everywhere is digitalized, everybody now has a phone, everybody now has the right to just post anything. Nobody's regulating or licensing these people to say, oh, what you said is not good, take it down, or what's not. I focus more on debunking the rumors and making sure that people make an informed decision. And for you to know that large followers, good video quality does not mean that the person is saying the right thing. So one of the things I do is I preach good nutrition. I ensure that, okay, for so condition, this is what you are supposed to do. Then one of the things I also tell people is that, who is giving you this nutrition information? First ask yourself. Number one, a doctor is not supposed to give you so much details because they don't really have that knowledge. A nurse is not supposed to give you that deep details about nutrition. Who is this person? Okay, so a person can actually come out and say, oh, I'm a nutritionist, I'm a dietitian. Ask, are you licensed? Because anybody can just pick up their phone, speak and say that, everybody, I don't want you to eat egusi soup again because it kills. And then it just puts fear in people's mind. Okay. So one of the things I do is that I look at most of this content or whatever it is, and I'll just probably stitch that video and say, somebody is saying you should not eat this, and then tell them the reason why you should do it, why it is not going to cost this, and all of that. So my major concern, because I know that everybody is on their phone, everybody is online these days, is to just preach the message online to people. Okay. Exactly.
So there seems to be a conflict, most especially in our Nigerian environment. This conflict is fueled by the desire for survival, because we need money. Things are actually very, very expensive, most especially food and all of that. So there seems to be a conflict as regards what we are actually supposed to eat and the availability of what lies in our kitchen for us to eat. Because some people will tell you, I've not seen money to eat and you're telling me to incur the services of a dietitian. Are you okay? Question talks like that. So how do we create a balance in this, bearing in mind that before salary comes, for some people, their salary is finished. So how do they actually eat healthy without breaking the bank?
Okay. The concept of eating healthy is not expensive. Okay. I like to tell people that the concept of eating healthy is not expensive. Now let's take, for example, chicken is protein. Crayfish is protein. I can afford crayfish. You can afford chicken. But when we consume this food and we eat it, what does our body know? Our body only knows protein. It does not know whether it is crayfish or chicken. So that is just why I used to tell people that the concept of eating healthy is not expensive. Now the number two concept of eating healthy, because there are some patients, when you tell them that I'm the dietitian and I was recommended to come and talk to you, say, me we never do this. You're coming to come and tell me, who told you I have money to do this? Who told you? Number one thing you should do is always plan your meals. Always plan your diet. I used to tell people that number one thing that will first break that, I don't know what to eat, I'm tired of what I'm going to eat, food is very expensive, is to first plan the meal. If you plan it very well, you realize that you're going to save yourself a lot, mentally a lot, financially a lot. So if you plan ahead, okay, in the next coming months, what do I want to eat? Have a timetable. What am I going to the market to go and buy? People will tell you that food are expensive, but shoe will never be expensive. Bags will never be expensive. Okay. Getting new jewelry, luxury will never be, because everybody wants to slay. Everybody wants to clock it. Exactly. So the same way, the same energy that you're putting into looking good is also, because I say food is also self-care. Eating well is self-care, and it doesn't really have to be expensive. People can slay on a budget, so you can also eat on a budget. Exactly.
Okay, so you said you would like people to plan. So I want you to help us plan our meal now. Some persons say breakfast is the most important meal. Some persons say, oh, it's good to skip breakfast or have late breakfast. So what time do you think, and is breakfast actually the most, is it effective and important meal?
First off, it is when people are trying to cut corners. They are trying to lose weight. You are trying to cut corners. You are trying to cut money. you are broke, probably they are broke. That is when they will now start coming up with different fallacies that breakfast is not important. Now, if I say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, I would downplay lunch and dinner because they are also very important. But I would say breakfast is one of the most important meals of the day. See, if you want to lose weight, eat breakfast too.
If you want to lose
weight, eat breakfast. If you want to gain weight, eat breakfast. If you want to manage your sugar, eat breakfast. You want to manage your BP, eat breakfast. Because you see that breakfast, it prepares you ahead. If you want to stay happy all day, eat breakfast because you will have energy. You have something that is sustaining you. You are battling cravings and all of that. Eat breakfast because the moment you eat breakfast, your sugar is properly controlled. So that thing that is propelling you to actually eat unhealthy things during the day will not be there again because you have had, imagine you've not had breakfast this morning now. Have you had breakfast?
No.
Have you? So when we are done, we'll go and all have breakfast. So imagine you have not had breakfast now. And then the work becomes so hectic and, it's already getting to 12:1. You've not eaten anything. What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Junk.
But imagine you've had breakfast. You are not going to feel that hunger. Even though you are feeling hungry, it will not be doing you to eat junks because your body will not be craving unhealthy things. So sometimes the reason why you are craving is because you have actually not had breakfast. So breakfast is very, very important, and it doesn't have to be heavy. For me, I'm guilty as charged. I can eat eba in the morning if they allow me.
And you're this?
I'm this small, yes.
No, not small. You're this fit. Yeah, let me use that word.
My fitness, I think I said that my fitness is actually come from heaven.
Okay.
Yes, it's come because that is how everybody in my family looks like.
So our time is no longer our friend. I want to ask now, for those with busy lives, because we live in an environment where it's no more a gender thing for everybody to want to survive, The ladies and the gentlemen, everybody's striving to survive, yes, and work hard. So what is your advice for people with busy lives that seem to forget that food, is available because they are striving hard to survive and, make ends meet for themselves from the aspect of a dietitian?
Okay, so I'll start with saying that maybe because I'm not a fast-paced person, I don't know how to rush or to hurry in life. I should tell people that please slow down. Whatever it is, please slow down. Take a moment, pause, and ask yourself questions. Because I will tell people, if you fall down and something happens to you, doesn't mean that the rest of us will stop working. Even if we're going to give you your respect, we will not stop working. We will continue. That means life will move on. So you pause and ensure that you are planning your meals. Then number 2 is please make a dietitian your friend. Whether they are your best friend, your wife, your sister, your colleague, your brother, make a dietitian your friend. Have them at your beck and call so that you can talk to them. Please assist me. Please put me through. It's actually very, very important. But then in whatever you do, please slow down and realize that as you are looking for the money, you also need to take care of the body that is looking for that money. Exactly.
So do dietitians actually collaborate with hospitals, healthcare providers, even in the community? Do they collaborate with them? Because some hospitals, they provide meals for their patients, like inbuilt, most of these private hospitals. So do they work along with the dietitians, or they just use their idea of nurses and doctors this work?
While we have so many hospitals that still use the idea, but then in so many public hospitals, like government-owned hospitals, the dietitian is actually part of the multidisciplinary team. That means that the success of your job is also hinged on what I do, and the success of my job is also hinged on what you do. So the dietitian is usually part of ensuring that a patient's recovery is very fast, and also the kitchen of the hospital is actually supervised by the dietitian. Okay. Even if we have cooks and we have what do they call them? Some kitchen assistants that they were trained to cook nutritional food, not just cooks now. We have the cooks that cook the regular diet, then we have some people that are actually trained to cook hospital diets for patients. Yeah. Everything is still overseen by the dietitian. So the dietitian is like heading the kitchen and also heading their own department. So the dietitian is actually part of a multidisciplinary team in clinical settings.
Okay, so what are some of the myths associated with diets that you would like to debunk right here? Just give us a few of them you've heard and you would like to tell us, this is not true. You should actually do this. You should actually do that.
There are a lot of myths that actually comes to my head, but everybody that knows me knows that I usually say that please, malt and milk do not give us blood.
Oh.
Malt and milk do not give us blood.
Tomato paste.
So the third time, malt and milk do not give us blood. Tomato paste does not give us blood.
Wow.
Please, if you have low PCB, your blood is low, please take vegetables, take milk, take eggs, eat protein.
Not malt and milk.
Not malt and milk.
Not malt and
Not malt and tomato paste.
Okay.
And also, if you have diabetes, please stop consuming excess beans. Stop taking a lot of unripe plantain. That is not the solution.
For diabetic
For diabetics, yes.
But I hear that's the food to take.
That is not the food to take. The diabetics should eat variety of food. That is why it is very important that you see your dietitian so that they can plan it for you. Please stop consuming a lot of beans and a lot of unripe plantain. They come back to my office looking very angry and tired and bored and like, please, they've been telling me to eat plantain and beans. I don't know what to do. Please talk to your dietitian. And so many mates, please just talk to your dietitian.
Okay, so in rounding off, your last words to Deltans and Nigerians.
Okay, first off, I want to say happy Registered Dietitian and Nutritionist Day to all the beautiful dietitians that are in Delta State and in Nigeria at large that are working effortlessly and tirelessly to ensure that patients and everyone around them is receiving care and they are receiving vitality. And then my message to Deltans and to Nigerians is that this year we're talking about the power of nutrition. Please, there is power in nutrition. There's power in good food. Please make sure that you are eating well. You're not just eating for survival. Make sure that your food is your medicine. You can actually eat without, you can eat and enjoy your food and you are still nourishing yourself. People think that when you're nourishing yourself, when you're eating, you're only eating when you're eating to be happy. That means that you're eating junk. You can eat healthy food and still be very, very happy and still be healthy. So please make sure that you're eating well. You're paying important attention to your nutrition and you're talking to your dietitian. Please, the dietitians at least in the government hospitals, they are close to free. You can walk into any hospital and say you want to see the dietitian, even without the doctor's recommendation. Just walk into their office and say, I want to see you, I want to talk to you.
All right, so in the words of Esogene, don't just eat for survival. Your food is your medicine. Well, we've been speaking... Still on to Friday's edition of Delta TV's flagship program, Morning Ride, and I trust you enjoyed seeing those interview segments on the importance of using appropriate materials when trying to build, and of course the role of dietitians in ensuring a healthier society. Well, right here in this segment, we get to reel out headlines coming from different newspapers, and trust me, we have lots of them here, from the New Telegraph to Daily Trust to Daily Independent, The Guardian, the Nigerian Tribune, This Day, Daily Sun, Vanguard, the Nation newspaper, the Daily Times newspaper, and the Punch newspaper. Will be reading out headlines coming from all of these newspapers. Well, we'll begin with the New Telegraph newspaper. The New Telegraph newspaper. So these are the headlines coming from the New Telegraph newspaper. PMS. Nigeria's reliance on importation shrinks further to 192 billion naira. IPO. Pencom clears PFAs for Dangote Refinery's offer. Fear grips Nigerians and others as SA protesters issue illegal immigrants June 30 deadline to leave. SA police: no individual or group has authority to instruct anybody to leave the country. Immigration matters governed by law. Catholic bishops in Africa urge South African government to quickly tame the violence. While still looking at the New Telegraph, it says, Abia 2027, Kalu calls for unity, loyalty, and rancor-free primaries. Says victory for Tinubu and APC non-negotiable. Atiku: Amechi submits ADC presidential nomination forms. Federal government moves to end exam fraud. This one here says, insecurity: Nigeria to deploy anti-drone tech AI for military operations. This is coming from Musa. Federal government targets more sub-national airlines for domestic regional routes. Says new leasing firm will help airlines tackle aircraft cost. Tinubu: Nigeria will attract almost $200 billion in foreign investment this year. 2027, Makinde formally declares presidential ambition at PDP APM rally. And lastly, processed food may be fueling asthma in children. Now this one is a study. Moving to the Daily Trust newspaper. The Daily Trust newspaper is next. These are the headlines. I won't seek second term even with gun to my head. This is coming from Peter Obi. 2027, Atiku Amechi submit forms for ADC presidential ticket. Lassa fever death toll hits 191. This is coming from the NCDC. Consensus rift. Logistics force APC to shift primaries. And lastly, how Makinde presidential bid may reshape 2027 contest. Well, that's it for Daily Trust. Well, moving to the next newspaper, which is the Daily Independent. The Daily Independent newspaper. It says Tinubu secures $600 million port investment during Rwandan trip. Says pension funds must evolve into development finance tools. 19,000 kilometers fiber optic digital infrastructure underway, as IFC seeks to catalyze private investment in Nigeria. Governor Makinde joins 2027 presidential race. His PDP-APM alliance unknown to INEC, says Wike. 2027 elections. Resist politicians' plot to deepen voter apathy, electorate urged. Atiku Amechi Hayatu Ding Depe. I'll take that again. Atiku Amechi Hayatu Ding submit forms for ADC presidential ticket. Death toll hits 191 in Nigeria's deadliest Lassa fever surge of the year. ADC slams Tinubu's $1.25 billion loan, warns of dangerous debt cycle. Miracle centers no longer tenable in education system. This is coming from Alausa. And lastly, the first quarter of 2026, telecom subscribers hit over 185 million with 3.4 million new customers. The Guardian newspaper is next, and these are the headlines from the Guardian newspapers. Nigeria will attract almost $20 billion FDI this year, Tinubu projects. NEMA alerts 30 states to possible severe flooding, urges prevention. ADC folds fresh loan, federal government's economic model. Nutrition crisis. Economic crunch squeezes poultry farmers, pushes eggs off menus. MSF treats over 440,000 malnourished Nigerian children as hunger crisis worsens. Federal government worried as regions receiving 80% education funding record lowest literacy rates. Makinde declares for 2027 presidency. Wike rejects PDP-APM alliance. Amid pushback, APC opts for direct primaries as Tinubu warns against do-or-die politics. And lastly, NMA threatens NIB lawsuit against EFCC over assault of UUTH doctors. The Nigerian Tribune newspaper is next. The Nigerian Tribune, ADC faults federal government's move to seek fresh $1.25 billion World Bank loan. APC primaries, Tinubu cautions party leaders and governors, urges fair contest. Crisis rocks Oyo, APC secretariat attacked over alleged imposition of candidates. Makinde declares for presidency, calls for national unity against one-party rule at massive PDP-APM rally. Southwest Development Commission secures rail license to drive regional connectivity and economic transformation. SEC raises alarm over rising Ponzi scheme on social media. Automotive industrial growth, NADDC, DG, Oshanipin calls for strategic development of after-sales services. OPE supports over 1,000 Osun students through Play for a Child initiative. And lastly, on health. Scientists reveal best exercise for knee arthritis pain relief. Looking at this day newspaper, we have the following headlines. On this day newspaper, Xi Jinping to Trump, US, China should be partners, not rivals, says Washington, Beijing both stand to lose from confrontation. Agree that Strait of Hormuz must be open. Tinubu seeks fairness as APC begins primaries. Makinde takes 2027 election battle to Tinubu in Southwest, declares for presidency, calls for national unity against one-party rule at PDP-APM rally, says claims that opposition can't write is miscalculation, declares opposition is the everyday Nigerian for whom the nation does not work. And lastly, we see a pictorial evidence of the Unity Mega Rally Grand Alliance of PDP and APM. The Daily Sun newspaper is next. Presidency. Even with gun to my head, to stay on, I'll leave after 4 years. This is coming from Obi. Still looking at the Daily Sun. Julius B. Omodayo Owotuga appointed Executive Director at First Bank. Julius B. Omodayo Owotuga appointed Executive Director at First Bank. Federal government considers new strategies to fight terrorists and bandits, to deploy AI, anti-drone technology for military operations. Kalu charges Abia APC on rancor-free primaries. Tinubu urges consensus, peace, women, youth inclusion as APC's primaries kicks off. Makinde joins presidential race, calls for unity against one-party rule. Atiku and Mechi submit ADC nomination forms. And lastly, APC government running Ponzi economy. This is coming from the ADC. The Vanguard newspaper is next. How Mafia fought to frustrate $20 billion Dangote Petroleum Refinery. This is coming from Aliko Dangote. CNN features Governor Hope Uzodinma and Imo State as West Africa's next investment frontier. Nigeria to attract $20 billion in foreign investment this year. This is coming from Tinubu. Customs hands over illicit substances worth 16.7 billion naira to NDLEA. APC primaries. Tinubu warns against rancor, urges fair play. Wike dismisses PDP APM alliance, says it's political 419. 2027. Atiku, Obi, Amechi, Makinde, Hayatuddin set to battle Tinubu. Atiku, Amechi submits forms, Makinde declares, Obi vows one term. It's time to save Nigeria. This is coming from Atiku. Emilokon brought us here. Amechi blasts APC over hardship. I want to go for second term, even at gunpoint. This is coming from Obi. And from Makinde, he says it is time to reset our country. And from Oyinlola, he says why opposition leaders united against Tinubu. And lastly, we have the Mr. and Mrs. Corner. Taking a quick look at the Nation newspaper, it says, Makinde declares for president on APM platform. PDP disowns Governor's Alliance claim. Zoning not priority in ADC, says Hayatuddin. Amechi, I am most qualified for ticket. From Tinubu, Nigeria attracted $20 billion foreign investment this year. APM Terminals pledges $600 million in fresh port ventures. APC members to vote in 8,809 electoral wards for reps tickets. And lastly, looking at the Nation newspaper, it says PDP screens presidential, governorship, and National Assembly aspirants. Looking at the Daily Times newspaper, it says APC primaries will test our unity and strength. This is coming from Tinubu. Pushes consensus option to prevent infighting. Pleads with losers to embrace party loyalty. At the top strip of the Daily Times newspaper, it says $600 million boost for Nigerian ports as APM terminals expand interest. EFCC clears over 1,000 frozen accounts in FX probe, retains 16 for investigation. And at the bottom strip, it says Nigeria's gas to power strategy has failed for nearly 20 years. This is coming from the NUPRC. The last but not the least is the Punch newspaper. 2027. Atiku, Amechi submit ADC presidential forms. EFCC operatives assaulted hospital workers, dragged me into van. This is coming from a UUTH doctor. Fierce lobbying, tension as APC primaries begin. Don't wreck the boat, Tinubu urges APC leaders and aspirants. Consensus talks collapsing Taraba, Yobe, Kano, or your APC office attacked. Kaduna moves to calm post-screening tensions. APC chieftains sue for peace. 2027 poll spending may trigger inflation. MPC warns. And lastly, Makinde joins presidential race, warns against one-party state. We'll now head back to the studio. Yes, those were the headlines coming from different newspapers. Yes, and I even talked about the one from the trending issue talking about Makinde joining the presidential race and warning against one-party state. We also have different headlines, trust me, lots of them that we didn't even reel out. But for details of these headlines and more, please, it's pertinent that you go out there to get copies of these newspapers or log on to the website to read stories coming from these newspapers. It is very, very pivotal that in these times we find ourselves. It's not just right that we arm ourselves with information, but it is very important that we arm ourselves with the right information. It is necessary and it is pertinent. It's on this note that we are drawing the curtains on today's edition of Delta TV's flagship program, Morning Ride. On behalf of the crew, my name is Perpetua Iboba. Morning Ride returns Monday morning, 7 a.m., bright and early. Good morning and goodbye. Have a beautiful weekend.
Society, try as much as possible to guide your utterances. No company can be intimidated. The companies are also urged to keep to their social responsibility, the corporate social responsibility. I always say it, keep to it. If you keep to the corporate social responsibility, no host community will hold you ransom.
Of the goodness of God. Shine, Jesus, shine, fill this land with the Father's glory. This the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it.
Choristers Beats, lifting God's name higher through songs. Don't miss it.
Rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it.
Hello, my name is Blessing